Today marks 1 full week since the war between Iran and Israel erupted. 7 days of relentless missile strikes, rising casualties and mounting diplomatic tension. In Iran, 657 people have been killed so far, while 24 have been killed in Israel. In the latest escalation, Iran launched a barrage of 35 missiles into Israeli territory, striking multiple cities. In the northern port city of Haifa, 2 people were seriously injured as explosions rocked a residential area near the city's main port. Thick black smoke was seen billowing into the sky, casting a grim shadow over the urban skyline. Air raid sirens blared in Jerusalem and across central and southern Israel as the Israeli military confirmed the incoming threat from Iranian missile launches. In response, Israel's military said 25 fighter jets carried out targeted airstrikes early on Friday, hitting missile storage facilities and launch infrastructure in western Iran. Tehran, however, claims one of the bombed sites near the Caspian Sea was a civilian workshop producing oxygen tanks for hospitals. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts are intensifying. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi is in Switzerland for high-stakes talks with his counterparts from the United Kingdom, France, Germany and the European Union. The closed-door negotiations in Geneva are reportedly focused on Tehran's nuclear program and efforts to de-escalate the conflict. Speaking earlier at the United Nations Human Rights Council, Iran's top diplomat denounced Israel's strikes as unprovoked aggression and a betrayal of diplomacy.
Our peaceful nuclear facilities have also been targeted, despite their being under full monitoring of IAEA and despite the fact that attacking such facilities are absolutely banned under international law. Israeli attacks on nuclear facilities are grave war crimes.
Addressing the United Nations Security Council, IAEA chief speaking from Geneva said no radiation release in Iran detected, but danger still exists. While United Nations chief delivered a stark warning, the expansion of the Israel-Iran conflict could ignite a fire no one can control.
There are moments when the choices before us are not just consequential, they are defining. Moments when the direction taken will shape not only the fate of nations, but potentially our collective future. This is such a moment. To the parties to the conflict, the potential parties to the conflict, and to the Security Council as the representative of the international community, I have a simple and clear message. Give peace a chance.
On nuclear sites in the Islamic Republic of Iran have caused a sharp degradation in nuclear safety and security in Iran. Though they have not so far led to a radiological release affecting the public, there is a danger this could occur.
Well, the coming days could prove pivotal both on the battlefield and in the diplomatic arena. Mr. Jack Rausch is a research associate at United Against Nuclear Iran. Is now joining us live from London. Mr. Rausch, welcome to WION World One. Talk to us about Trump's delay in making a decision and Iran reaching out to Europe seeking diplomacy. What do you make of this dynamic?
Thank you for having me. Abbas Araghchi, before he became foreign minister under President Pezeshkian in Iran, had a record as an ambassador in Europe for the Islamic Republic. He has relationships with European leaders. He's met with European leaders on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly and other conferences like that. I think that Araghchi's calculus in reaching out to Europe is much the same as his calculus with reaching out to Europe last year. He perceives a difference of perspective between the Europeans and the United States that he can exploit and potentially win over some European recognition of Iran's peaceful nuclear program, perhaps secure some kind of intercession from the Europeans on his behalf with the United States to prevent their involvement. I'm not really sure if that's going to work out for him. It didn't work out very well prior to the negotiations with the United States. And it seems at this point as though most European leaders are in some kind of alignment with Washington and with Tel Aviv as well. Now, when it comes to Trump's delay, I think that the administration perceives ambiguity as working in their favor. In Trump's position, it may be preferable for him to see how the Israeli strikes go, see if Iran will surrender its nuclear program, which is something that he's called for, and then discern whether or not U.S. involvement is necessary and the degree to which that involvement would unfold.
Mr. Rausch, your views on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu insisting his military's objective was to strike all of Iran's nuclear facilities, but the Saudi nuclear regulator says attacks on peaceful nuclear facilities is a violation of international law.
Of course. So, in the Israeli perspective, Iran's nuclear program is not a civilian nuclear program. That's based on Iran's enrichment, which they argue goes beyond that which is necessary for a civilian program. So in the Israeli perspective, this program is a nuclear weapons program and needs to be dealt with as such. And it seems as though the Trump administration is in agreement with that position based on Trump's position, which is also now that there should be no enrichment in Iran, that their nuclear program should be completely abandoned. And so even if, the Saudi Arabia is making this argument, Abbas Araghchi is making this argument, I don't think it really impacts the Israeli calculus. The real question is whether or not Israel will be able to sufficiently degrade Iran's nuclear program to the extent that they see desirable. Just out today, there was reporting from Bloomberg that much of the nuclear program remains still intact. Obviously, sites like Fordo are highly protected, deep underground. So that's part of why, for the Israelis, U.S. involvement would be preferable.
Mr. Rausch, nuclear experts are arguing that Israel's offensive will push Iran closer to the bomb and may encourage other countries to develop their nuclear bombs. What do you think will happen next if that is not taken care of?
Well, I think, there are two things to consider. First is the Iranian calculus. I've heard it argued as well that this will only push Iran closer to a bomb. I think that's also the perspective potentially of the Trump administration and of Israel. And that's why we're seeing Israel and the United States argue that, Israel needs to finish the job. The nuclear program either needs to be completely destroyed or completely surrendered by the Islamic Republic. I think when it comes to other nuclear threshold states, the argument could be made the other way, that if Iran is able to produce a nuclear weapon sort of without reproach, without consequence, that might make, more of a case for those countries to pursue that avenue. Whereas if Iran is prevented from doing so, those countries might take a second look at doing that.
All right, Mr. Rausch, stay with me because we have some breaking news coming in at this hour, and we do understand that the Trump administration has issued fresh Iran-related sanctions, including on two entities based in Hong Kong and counterterrorism-related sanctions. Mr. Rausch, I have to let you go. Thank you very much for that, and thank you very much for talking to WION World is One today.